your hands together. That's it. Make a tent. Push your hands together. That's it. Fold them in. Good. Push the tent. Good. Rub your hands together. That's it. Good. Put your hands out in front. That's it. Have a clench. That's it. Good. Play the piano. That's it. Good. Right, we're just going to bounce the ball. That's it. Throw it in the air. Bounce it again. That's it. And then throw it away. Right, ready? I'm going to throw the ball. Each table goes to each table. So this one first. Throw it to another table. That's it. Come on. Keep it going. Catch the ball. Yay. Brilliant. Back again. Back over. Keep it going. Brilliant. Yay. Thank you. Everybody bounce it. Very good. Throw it up in the air. And again. Throw it up in the air. Do one hand. Throw it away. Another hand. Throw it away. Very good. Lift your arms up to the ceiling. Just going to wave around. That's it. Good. All the way down. Right, we're just going to climb up the hill. All the way up to the top. Going to jump to the next hill. Whee! That's it. Hand. Go back up again. Up to the top. All the way up. Jump to the next hill. Jump. Hand. Last time up to the top. That's it. To the top. Jump. Now we're going to parachute down. That's it. All the way down. Brush all the leaves off. That's it. Good. Wrap the ball and pull. Up above your head. Hold the ball. Good. Again. Wrap the ball and pull. Hold the band. Right, draw a big rainbow. That's it. Draw a big rainbow. Grab a pot of gold. Make a wish. Blow it away. Put it up. Put your hands down. Take your arms up. Press the heels of your hands together. Bring it down. Give yourselves a big clap.
Thank you, Helen. And well done, everyone. Everybody got involved in that. I don't know about you, but it's made room for that extra slice of cake, that's for sure. But no, it really is a powerful reminder, isn't it, about how important well-being and healing and health, they all go hand in hand. And I think with people finding themselves in some challenging circumstances in our hospital wards, projects like what Helen and her team were able to do, thanks to your support, is to be able to go into those spaces and create a bit of a light-hearted moment and a unity, get people moving first and foremost as well. And we know how much important that is, but also to, you might have seen on the board outside, we have a story about a particular patient who was so inspired by the movement that she was able to do, that she's going to be doing them at home. And I think that is part of that journey and our role of healing people to our hospitals, but then back into the community and doing everything that we can to make sure that we stay healthy and once we've been kind of able to come back home. So it is really important, and I'm glad you all took part, and it's just a way to show you exactly what goes on in our hospital world. So thank you very much. Next, we're going to turn to an area of our hospitals which I know is incredibly special to so many of you, and it's our children's services, and many of you tirelessly fundraise for our children's services over the years. And it's great to be able to be part of that journey with you, to make sure that we have lots of various projects that support the services, so from vein finders to parrot beds, to more live music therapy, to smiley scopes, to scanning rooms being redecorated. Your gifts really are transforming the hospital experience for our youngest, most vulnerable patients, and it's really important. It reduces anxiety, which obviously for parents as well is a massive help when they are finding themselves in those spaces. So I wanted to extend a warm welcome to Louise Evans. Louise is our Head of Nursing for Children's Hospital Services, and I just wanted to welcome Louise to say a few words. So thank you.
Makes them all refreshed now after that vigorous exercise. So as Sunita said, I'm Louise Evans and I have a privileged position as Head of Nursing for the Children's Hospital. I work with an amazing team of people who go above and beyond every day. They help to fill our gaps. Their compassion and caring is there every single day, 24/7. And again, it's an absolute privilege to work with every one of them. Within the Children's Hospital, just so you can understand the vastness, because we're very different to District Generals and we're quite different to some of those big specialist children's hospitals. We have 9 inpatient areas across 2 sites, which is, it's all at Leicester Royal, but we have 2 in Kensington and we have 7 across Balmoral area. We have the ability to support up to 144 children at any one time, just in our inpatient areas alone, and that doesn't take away the amount of children that are going through emergency department or through our short stay units, or in fact our daycare and our outpatients. I hope I don't forget any speciality here because they won't forgive me, but we have neurology at Leicester Royal, metabolics, neurology, cardiology, endocrine, gastroenterology, immunology, nephrology, ENT, rheumatology, oncology, haematology, and I mustn't forget orthopaedics, respiratory and intensive care. So it's a huge area of specialisms that we offer at the Royal, and again, often children on long stay under multiple specialisms at any one time. So recently we've enhanced our provision for children with eating disorders, and again, as an acute paediatric trust, we're relying on the support of our CAMS mental health partners to help us with that. So we've seen an increase in children with mental health disorders, and we have to respond to that. And I think, to say the least, we've seen an increase in those children admitted to our units as well. So we have to build services around that, and our staff face that sort of challenge of that on a day-to-day basis. We're also seeing an increase in children with medical complexities, resulting in much longer stays at the Leicester Royal Infirmary, and we have children currently at the minute who've been with us over a year. And again, you wouldn't want that for any child, but until they're medically optimised, we continue to offer that care and enhance the support around that family. Last year alone, we operated on over 2,800 children and admitted approximately 3,400 children to the Children's Hospital for varying lengths of stay, and that grows year on year. Our children's ED department again continues to see at least a 5 to 10% increase year on year, which again is vast. As I talked about with children with people with mental health issues and long-term complexities, we're also seeing a rise in children with diabetes, and again, how we respond to that dictates how we move forward with service provision. So again, we're relying on support and our teams continuing to be up to date with their practice and knowledge. Each year with winter comes, and we have a little bit of a dread when winter comes. It changes year on year. Last year it was around November time, the year before it was October, and sometimes we see our winter surge extended into April or even May, and that's around children admitted with respiratory viruses. And again, the acuity of those children and those infants goes up. They stay in hospital for slightly longer periods, and the intensity of their care often rises as well. And that sets a challenge with us, especially if summer is quite, as I dare say the word, less challenging. I certainly won't say the key word. So I'm incredibly proud of how the Children's Hospital team respond, not only to those increasing challenges, but to deliver the best care possible. And they really do go above and beyond. Not only to the child themselves, which is the different in paediatrics to adults, but we wrap around the family. So we care for the family while the child is in our care. We couldn't have done half the things we do without your support, and we are so grateful for the fundraising that you have done for the Children's Hospital. You've made a huge, huge difference. And I'm going to go through some of those that you've mentioned already, Sunita. So, for each child in our care, we provide an overnight reclining chair or a fold-down bed. And I know that's not, in an ideal world, you provide more than that, but actually the fact that we can accommodate one parent or carer per child makes a difference if we've got the fold-down beds to And back in 2023, we needed to replace at least 50% of those beds that were needing repair and really weren't fit for purpose. You rose to the challenge and you enabled us to provide fold-down beds for each bed space. And that made a huge difference. We had a good standard mattress for those beds, and again, just the ability to have a little bit of sleep as a parent for a child that's in hospital makes a massive difference. As I say, it's one of the most anxious times you'll ever go through, and it's a time that you never ever forget, and you reflect on throughout your years as a parent and a carer, and we've all been through it, whether that's through A&E, just attending, or it's actually being admitted. But as I say, it's something that you reflect on years and years to come, and you don't forget. So thank you, you made the difference with the beds. I'll talk to you about the Vapotherm units. So last year we were desperate for Vapotherm units, and Vapotherm units are critical. They make a huge difference because they allow children to breathe slightly better, they allow mucus to be removed from that body, and they also allow them to kind of restore their energy if they're waiting for cardiac surgery. So we knew, again, they're very expensive units, and we never have enough Vapotherm units. But again, you rose to the challenge, you made a huge difference. So just before, and it was literally the week before we went into winter surge, we had the arrival of the Vapor units. And again, thank you, because what that does is it shortens the length of stay for infants, and it also makes their whole breathing that bit easier while they're in our care. And for those cardiac patients awaiting surgery, again, there's never enough, so again, thank you. I'm going to move us on to the Smiley Scopes now. So the Smiley Scopes is something that we're extremely excited about. So anyone who likes virtual reality, I absolutely recommend that you have a go with the virtual reality goggles when they arrive. So these devices improve traumatic procedures, they reduce patient distress, and they reduce the need for restraint and sedation, and the evidence base is there for their use. It also reduces clinician injury, which is always helpful. The use of the devices has the potential to reduce the number of children requiring MRI under sedation, and again, that shortens their length of stay and makes their experience much better. Children requiring blood tests, again, it's frequent, and other procedures hugely benefit from the virtual reality goggles Smiley Scopes. It provides gentle distraction, maximises pain reduction, and can reduce the whole procedural time. So again, I'm very excited, as are most of my team, who've tried out the devices. We are expecting the arrival of the Smiley Scopes very soon, and they will be used across all our areas. Oncology, they'll be used in outpatients department, they'll also be used in our imaging department as well. But there's 40 programs on those Smiley Scopes, and again, they reduce pain and anxiety and the need for when children are having needles. So again, a great resource to have, so thank you. And again, for children who are undergoing mental health issues at the same time, it's that whole mindfulness and that ability to just take themselves away from where they really are. So thank you. And then Opus Music. So Opus Music has been at the Children's Hospital and the Neonates for over 15 years. I think it's nearer to 20 now. These are a brilliant team of experienced healthcare musicians, and they come into our inpatient areas, and the minute they arrive, you know about it. Usually the staff stop exactly what they're doing, and all eyes go on to Opus Music. You can see the joy on the children's faces the minute they start to play. They engage the children with the music. They again allow them to be distracted from what's happening and just give them that sense of well-being and some peace, and it makes a massive difference. So again, the Opus Music would be lost without your donations to support them and keep them into the Children's Hospital. And then we have the Vein Finders, and the Vein Finders is a 24-hour EAVA FM radiothon that took place in May. It was the 18th and 19th of May. And again, a great success. Still fundraising for the Vein Finders. The Vein Finders in themselves, again, we don't have enough of them, we never do. They're used across departments, they're used a lot in our cardiac ward and also our outpatients department. And again, that helps reduce the amount of times a child and infant will be exposed to having an IV ventral or blood stool. So they really do make a big difference. So looking at what's next. So one of our areas that requires a big focus is our Children's Intensive Care Unit in Balmoral area. And And again, we have an amazing group of individuals who do whatever they can around fundraising and support the families. We know that there is not enough space for them to even sit while their child is on the unit. And if you have a child in the unit, sadly, you don't ever really want to leave them or go far away. So it's really important that those facilities are as close by as possible. They don't particularly have access to an immediate bathroom or wash area during the time, and the rooms that we can offer them are very limited, so we haven't got a room for every family who stays in that unit. There's no room for designated parents' room or for relatives to come when they come and visit either. So again, it's an area that we really need to improve. The footfall throughout there is huge. Again, with staff visitors, and you often sadly see parents, carers sat on the bench outside the unit, eating their sandwiches or on the phone because there's nowhere specifically for them to go. And we don't feel that's acceptable, and we want to do something different to make the change. So we are raising funds for that unit. We'll start our promotions in the next few weeks, and we have three who are very, very committed to making those changes, and we often see it in our feedback from parents there as well as the staff. We want to improve the privacy and dignity for the parents and families during the most stressful and upsetting period of their lives. So we've already had our architects in to look at the space. We know it can be reconfigured in a different way, but obviously it requires funds to do that. So again, thank you for your support with that ongoingly. So the future. So our ambition is still to bring all the children's hospital together and reconfigure in the way it needs to be, so it's fit for purpose. So for those who have supported our initial children's hospital appeal, again we thank you. Phase 2 is still in the planning, but we've been significantly delayed, just put our plans on hold currently. So I'd just like to end by thanking you all for the amazing difference you really do make, and I mean that, and the staff are just overwhelmed by the generosity, as are the parents and families that come through our wards and departments. You do make a huge difference, so thank you.
Thank you, Louise. Genuinely, the care, the compassion, the above and beyond that's displayed by your team on a daily basis is noted, and we're all very inspired by that, so thank you, and pass on our thanks as well. And thanks to you all. I hope that was useful to hear a little bit more in detail about what projects that the funds have gone to over the years, but also what we want to do going forward. Now I just wanted to give a very warm welcome to someone quite special in the room. It's my honour really to introduce a mum whose story moved many of you in our spring appeal. Hers and little Tommy. Tommy's over there with his sister. Hi, Tommy. Yeah. So Tommy's story was essential to our spring appeal, which raised £16,000 for a vital piece of neonatal equipment, which is a video laryngoscope. Hopefully you've had the updates through the post and maybe even spoken to some of us on the phone. But just to let you know that we have now raised that money, and that now there will be more than one video laryngoscope on the ward, which will be incredibly helpful in helping our staff to look after our tiniest of patients. We are really grateful for families when they choose to share stories in support of our appeals. It's a real joy that you're here today, Carrie-Anne. I know it takes a lot to go back to some of those times and to share that forward, but it really does make a difference to us as a charity. We have so many families that do that for us, which is another way that you can support us, and I know that just listening to stories in the room, there are so many. It's also been lovely to meet Tommy, whose pictures we've been looking at and sharing with our wonderful donors, so it's lovely to have you all here. So yes, all that remains is to say welcome to Carrie-Anne.
My name is Carrie-Anne Pratt, and I'm mum to our amazing boy Tommy. To be here now at the phone floor and be able to tell our story on how Tommy, who was born at 24 weeks, is truly incredible. Tommy, who was born in 4 months early, weighed 703 grams and needed life-saving care to keep him alive. We spent 102 days in the neonatal department at Leicester Royal. Tommy was born early after my waters broke prematurely following weeks of severe bleeding. After spending a week on the maternity ward, Tommy made his entrance with the quickest 20-minute labour, arrived on style, reach and stood in his sack. Once Tommy was made as stable as possible, he was taken down down to the NICU unit where he required 100% oxygen, and with no other wiggle room, we were told the only chance of survival was to use nitric oxide, and we count our lucky stars every day that he responded to this. To give an overview of what Tommy went through in NICU, he had a minor bleed on the brain, ROP in his eyes, which he had to endure weekly eye tests, which were far from pleasant for him, but he narrowly avoided laser eye surgery. He had chronic lung disease, which he required a lot of breathing help for. Even after coming out of hospital, he required home oxygen. He had a duct on the heart, which affected his breathing progress, which he also narrowly avoided an operation for. An operation to correct a hernia at around 36 weeks gestation. A few terrifying neck scares, more blood tests and blood transfusions than you can ever count. But even after all this, we never once doubted that our little boy wouldn't be okay, and we had absolute faith in the professionals caring for him that they would get him through. Tommy is now a super happy and healthy 4-year-old with zero signs of lasting damage on his prematurity. The Neonatal Club is a club that no parent ever wants to join. I would have done anything possible to change Tommy's story, but on the other hand, I'm so incredibly and strangely grateful that we did get to see what happens in the neonatal department, to see the amazing work of the doctors, nurses and the whole team. The empathy, patience and level of care they provide is just outstanding. These are the doctors and nurses that we owe everything to, because without them, we wouldn't have Tommy here with us today. I remember the first time we went down to NICU to see Tommy, and one of the first things that hit me, after the sound of all the alarms and machines, was the level of calmness. Tommy was extremely poorly at this stage. The number of tubes, wires and lack of medication being pumped into him showed us this, but the nurse in charge of Tommy that night, I can only describe her as an angel. Although she was so busy as Tommy needed so much care, she wouldn't show us an ounce of stress,